We are live and asking the provocative and important question, where did we come from? Apes, aliens, or Adam? And tonight we have a very special unboxing of a giant sloth tooth. And we'll get to this in just a little bit. What is the significance of a giant sloth tooth? What's the significance of giants? Well, I'm glad you asked that, because we're going to answer that as well, too, as we do a parade, a show and tell of different animal tooths in the fossil record that represent the giantism of the pre-flood world. So the question is, were there giants before the flood? Were there human giants before the flood and even afterwards? And the answer is yes. And so since the evidence is mostly in the newspapers in the United States and a few places around the world where giant bones have been unearthed, and not necessarily the mastodon being mistaken as human, but the real deal, a skull, not just a leg bone that could be perhaps misinterpreted, is found in the newspapers, unfortunately. And maybe the Smithsonian has a few of them in their cellar that they're not saying too much about. According to the newspapers in the late 1800s, early 1900s, there was a number of giant human bones that were taken or donated to the Smithsonian, thinking that they were going to get a fair treatment, fair hearing. And unfortunately, what happened after Charles Lyell's book in 1830 and Charles Darwin's book in 1859, The Origins of Species, that the Smithsonian gradually became a bastion for science, and that is not creation science, but modern day evolutionary, geological, modern geology science. So there's two things that the Smithsonian doesn't like, if that's a way of saying it: evidence of Noah's Ark and evidence of giant humans. Those are the two things that seem to pop up, that seem to be the most hidden, or accusing them of hiding these two types of artifacts. But let's start by showing what some of these things looked like by their teeth in the fossil record, to show just exactly how big things were. Then we're going to talk a little bit about sloths. And you probably don't know that much about them. I didn't. When I did more of a research on it for tonight's presentation, I was pleasantly surprised what I found out. Now, I'm going to do two commercial breaks. I'm going to want to thank our sponsor, us, for this program. And the link is, sorry, it's in reverse vision. Valley of the Giants. This book right here contains evidences of giants and giant humans and dinosaurs coexisting, and the evidence is found in the Paluxy River in Glen Rose, Texas. Here's a giant human footprint. Some would say that's a dinosaur footprint. Doesn't look like it to me, but that footprint isn't 11 inches long. A lot of these were 17, 19, 21 and a half inches long. That one right there is a good 19 inches. Let me just make sure that, 19 inches long. And I've seen these myself when we were down, when the Paluxy was dry in Glen Rose, Texas. Okay, let's get to our parade of fossilized teeth. We're going to see a few, and then we're going to open up the box. This is I should say, ask you guys, hey, what is it, Anybody recognize that? That should give it away right there. You're very welcome, Doug. Anybody want to take a guess what kind of fossil? Apparently this is the same animal, just a little smaller. Okay, so what these are is fossilized horse teeth. Fossilized horse teeth. Interesting. All right. Spinosaurus. Those are weird creatures, man. They're like half in the water, half not, almost like salamanders with big, huge teeth. And this is I'll give you this one. This is a Spinosaurus. And what's really cool is it's got not serrated, but just ribbed ridges right here, if you can see it. I don't know how close I can get. There we go. You see that? It's kind of cool. Good guess there, water life. Good guess. It did look like a hippo tooth, and I don't know if you're referring to the horse tooth that I showed, but yeah. Now, let's take a look at a Gigantopithecus tooth. What is that, you say? It is a giant ape, and this is the jaw. This is a replica I got from Germany of the Gigantopithecus, just to give you an idea. And this right here is right here, not here. So, and this is what the teeth looked like. Let me put my finger next to it. A little bigger than what we have today. These big boys got up to 10 feet tall. Imagine that, a giant monkey 10 feet tall. And they say there's no way that humans were 10 feet tall? Well, not to go back to this book for advertising purposes, but in here, you're going to see strides, 5 to 7 feet strides. Do you know what that means? I'm 6'2". I take an almost 3-foot stride. Double that stride, 6 feet. I'm 6'2". I do a 3-foot stride. That means the people in this that had the 21-inch feet that did a 6-foot stride are around 12 feet tall. I think that's pretty significant. And here we have a monkey that was 10 feet tall. And evolutionists won't disagree with that. Paleontologists are the ones who tell us this. Now, let me show you what a T-Rex tooth looks like. T-Rex teeth are very rare and they're very expensive. Not that rare, but they're expensive. So I have this next best thing. I have a replica. Okay. That is a T-Rex tooth. Alastor, welcome. Yeah, that is a T-Rex tooth. All right, so we got a chance to see a few teeth. Great. Let's talk a little bit about the sloth. Oh, can I show you modern day? This, can you guys guess what this is? This is a modern day mammal, and this is a tooth from the mammal. This is a replica. That is not a real. That is a cast from a real tooth of the T-Rex that you just saw. I know, coyote dinosaurs are very cool. This is a modern animal. Does anybody want to take a guess? And this is the root system right here, and this would be the whatever that's called, the top of the tooth. So let's say it fits into the mouth like this. Hippo, boy, whale. Good job, guys. One more guess. Whale tooth, we got a hippo tooth. This is a modern day animal found in Africa. Maybe I gave it away. 3, 2, 1. Oh, Natalie, you're probably the closest. It's an elephant tooth. This is an elephant tooth or a replica of one. You can't own real elephant teeth. It's against the law. So we have a replica of one, and that's an elephant tooth. Still pretty big. All right. Let's talk a little bit about sloths, okay? Rhino, thank you. Elephant, that's right. Sloths are anatomically, listen to this, they're mammals. They're cute. They're about so big. And they're, I know this is going to sound crazy. They're anatomically designed to fall out of trees. During mating season, when two males are fighting over a female, could you imagine two sloths trying to bat each other? I mean, maybe their reflexes are slow so that when they have to duck slow too. But they try to knock each other out of the tree. That's how they fight. And they can fall 100 feet without getting hurt. They're 3 times stronger than a human, and they can swim 3 times faster in the water than they can move on land. Interesting. Giant sloths were 14,000 pounds and stood, when they stood up, 20 feet. 20 feet. That's twice as tall as a Gigantopithecus. I can't even imagine 20 feet tall for a mammal like that. That just seems almost impossible. 20 feet tall. Now, the giant ground sloth is extinct now, and it was first discovered or cataloged by Thomas Jefferson in the 1780s. He was the first one, and he called it, oh, what was the name of it? I can't remember. He called it something other than, he didn't know it was a sloth at the time. They feasted on avocados. That's right. They love fruit, and avocados was one of their favorite. And I guess they still eat that today. Now, in Texas, in a gravel bed in LaGrange, Texas, in 2004, this sloth skull, and I wish I had a modern day sloth skull. I've got one on order. It's coming. When I do an actual video, not a live, I'll have that, Sounds like the orange pandec. Oh, you got me on that one. But take a look at this skull. I have no idea what does that look like? Maybe a 6 foot sloth? Let me show you compared to my head. Maybe that big. I don't know exactly. It never said, but this was found in a gravel bed in LaGrange, Texas in 2004. And there was a camel bone in there, fossilized camel bone, and also the world's largest four-tusk mastodon called the Lone Star, which we have a replica in our museum. And so there you have it. That's what was found. Now, let's take a look at our tooth. How does that sound? You guys have been very, very patient, and I appreciate it. And let's open her up. This is exciting. I have not seen it. This will be the first time I've seen it. I've only seen photos of it when I made my purchase, but I wanted you guys to see it with me. If you're just joining us, we're opening up a giant sloth tooth that's in this box, and I want to show you guys. Again, sloths were up to 20 feet tall in the fossil record. Now, from a creationist standpoint, all those sloths died either just during the flood itself, or some, because a lot of mammals died in the United States with a huge blanket of sediment. And some think that that sediment was released by post-flood water that accumulated like in a canyon and then broke forth. You ever seen how you cut a hole in the side of a pool, or it collapses and the water just gushes out? That's the idea. So there's a couple of different schools of thought on that. I'm not 100% sure, but it was either during the worldwide flood or a flood situation after the worldwide flood was over with, where there was another flood. This is kind of heavy. Giant sloth, okay. So this was found in Florida, and according to evolution, this is 100,000 years old. According to creationism, it's no more than 4,400 years old. Thank you, Adam. Oh, that, my friends, is a giant sloth tooth. And I want you to see it from every dimension we can possibly give it to you as. Because you guys have been great waiting to see this thing. It's approximately 4.5 inches tall. It is approximately 1.25 inches wide and about 1 inch thick. It may have been broke off. That's a great question. I don't know how long they were, but I'll tell you what, if you decide after this program to jump on Google and just say giant sloth teeth, I don't know if what you're gonna find, quite honestly. I think I did it once and I wasn't looking for a photo of a more complete tooth if there was one that could give us an idea just exactly how much further up this went. Intelligent design. It is huge, water life. Is it hollow? No. Here, let me tap it. It is solid. It must weigh a good pound. And again, those of you just joining us, this is a giant sloth tooth. It was found in Florida. And again, according to Pleistocene epoch or era, which means that the evolutionists would say that this is 100,000 years old. From a creationist standpoint, it is 4,400 years old at the oldest. I don't know if this is coalized or what. It wouldn't surprise me. But there you have it. Giant sloth tooth, friends. Now, I'm going to set this for right here for right now. There's two more things I want to share with you before we go. Number one, we're producing a video called, and it's going to be about another week or so before it comes out. It's called Does Petrified Wood Burn? And this is what you're going to see in the thumbnail. A little more dramatic than that. This is a piece of petrified wood right here. And the question is, does it burn? And that's probably an easy to answer. But what you're going to see in the video is a half petrified, half not petrified piece of wood. And we're going to burn a piece of the non-petrified wood. That's well, you'll see it. And we're gonna check that out. We're gonna actually burn wood that's infused inside a log that's half petrified. We'll explain the significance of that when we do it. So turn it laterally. Okay, here, let me show you if that's what you mean. And if it's the tooth, I'll do that as well too. This is petrified wood. Again, how long does it take to petrify wood? Petrify wood. And how long ago was it petrified? Interesting. Everywhere. Yes, Adam. Some places there are lots of petrified wood. One more look at this before we take off. Here again is the giant sloth tooth from a sloth that was probably 20 feet tall, weighing 14,000 pounds. Wait till you see, in the next few months, I'm going to be upgrading my studio. I'll be having 1 or 2 more cameras that will be able to do macro photography, meaning that you're going to be able to see things closer and better than this front-facing iPhone 15 Pro Max. That's a mouthful. All right, so I think we're done for tonight. And again, this live was sponsored by us and the book Valley of the Giants, which is in the product carousel that's below the video in the description. Okay, enjoy your evening or morning or whatnot. Best of luck in the upgrade. Appreciate that. I am so looking forward to giving you guys a much more immersive experience, more cinematic or more higher production value experience that showcases some of this really cool stuff. Now, get ready. If you're not following us, please subscribe. And here's the reason why. We have more boxes of artifacts to show off. And next Friday, we're going to show crystals with wire in them. Natural formed crystals with wire in them, which begs the question, how old are crystals? How long do they take to form? Why are there 2 different crystals with wire going through them? Exactly. We're going to show it all. All right, guys, thanks for joining us today. And we'll see you next time in our next video or our next live. Guys, have a great day.